Welcome back, everybody. Today on Celebrate Sausage, we're going to be making a sausage that is quite possibly Cincinnati, Ohio's best kept secret. We're going to be making Goetta. Now, I gotta be honest, the very first time somebody mentioned to me the word Goetta as a sausage, I had no idea what it was. I had to look it up, and then look it up some more, and then look it up some more, and then come to find out there's actually a Goetta festival in Cincinnati, Ohio. So I called some friends in Columbus, in Cleveland, and I asked them about this Goetta sausage. And as crazy as it sounds, 99% of the people that I asked had no idea what I was talking about. So I've come to understand that unless you live in Cincinnati, you've probably never heard of this awesome sausage. In today's video, I'm going to show you how I make it, a couple tips and a couple tricks, because it is a notoriously fragile sausage. And there's a couple of things that we can do to allow this sausage to hold its integrity. This particular sausage ranks in the top 3 of the weirdest sausages that we made here on Celebrate Sausage 2020. But it was quite possibly one of the most delicious. Let me show you how we made it.
To get started, I got my hands on some pork belly with the skin still on it. The skin is actually going to play a vital role in keeping the integrity of our sausage. So as we process the pork belly, the first thing I want to do is I want to remove the skin, and I'll show you what we're going to do with it here in a minute. The pork belly has about a 50-50 fat to lean ratio. And for this recipe, it's going to be absolutely perfect. It's going to deliver a lot of juicy flavor. And once we've got the skin off of the pork belly, we're going to go ahead and just cut it up into small pieces. Pork skin is high in a particular protein called collagen, and animal collagen is the main ingredient in gelatin. So we're going to use the collagen from this pork skin to help thicken up our Goetta sausage. At this point, we're just going to cut up the rest of our meat so that they're in manageable slices ready for the grinder. But we're going to be using beef, pork belly, and a little bit of some pork shoulder, and that's what this is going to look like. So once we have our meat ready to go, look, there's our pork skin. Let's go ahead and get the pork skin going in a small pot with some beef stock. I'm going to simmer that for about 15 minutes or so. This is going to prepare our pig skin so that it can grind a little easier. Now, if you don't happen to have pork skin or a pork belly with skin on it, you can always substitute it with actual flavorless gelatin, and that works just as well. Now, at this point, it's time to grind everything. We've got onions, garlic, we have our pork skin that's been simmering for about 15 to 20 minutes. I've got all of my meat, and we're going to grind that on the smallest plate that I have. Now, in this case, it's a 3mm plate, and so we're just going to grind all that through the grinder. And once it's completely ground, it's time to begin cooking. Using the beef stock that we cooked our pork skin in, we're going to go ahead and add our ground meat mixture and our seasonings. Now, as you cook this, you're going to taste it, and you can adjust the seasonings as necessary. I'm going to start with a little salt, pepper, ginger, coriander, clove, and some bay leaf, and that's going to give this just an amazing flavor. So we're going to go ahead and stir that well, make sure it's well incorporated on a low heat. I'm going to cover that and begin to let it simmer. This is going to simmer, and while it's simmering, we need to get our oats ready. Now, we have to use steel cut oats. You can't use rolled oats for this recipe. After about an hour of simmering, the fat will have started to render, and it's time to add your oats. Once you add your oats, you're going to have to stir a little more frequently so that it doesn't stick to the bottom. And at this point, all we're waiting for is for our Goetta mixture to thicken up. And those oats are going to start to soak in the fat, soak in that excess liquid, and they're going to become more tender. And this is what your Goetta is going to look like as you're getting close to the finishing part of it. You're going to notice that it's going to look more like a porridge. It's going to be incredibly thick. It should smell amazing. And one of the tests for Goetta is that if you put a spoon right in the center of it, the thickness of your Goetta mixture should hold your spoon upright, just like this. Now, let me show you with a slightly smaller spoon so that you can get a better idea, but that's what it's going to look like. Now, once your spoon does that and you give it a taste and the oats are tender, you can go ahead and take it off of the fire. Your Goetta mixture is officially finished. Now, in a pre-greased or non-stick bread pan or mold, go ahead and pour your warmed Goetta mixture in it. We're going to allow this to cool and set up for a little while. Now, just to let you know, this is completely ready to eat as is right now. So if you don't mind the texture, this is actually very delicious the way it is. So once it's cooled, cover it, place it in the fridge, and it's going to really firm up. The collagen that was extracted from the pig skin, or if you chose to use gelatin in this particular recipe, is going to help create a nice bind, and it's going to give you a really solid loaf that's going to hold together really well when you cook it. As you can see, when I press on it with my finger, it's nice and firm, and when I pop it out, this is what our Goetta is going to look like uncut. Another trick, in addition to the pigskin, to help maintain the integrity of your Goetta is to not cut your slices too thin. So a 1/2 inch is ideal. You can make them a little bit bigger if you'd like. The thicker you make your Goetta sausage, the more gooey and ooey the center is going to be when you cook it, which is actually kind of nice. So all I'm going to do is go ahead and place this onto my cast iron skillet. And notice I've got it blazing hot because what I'm looking to do is give the outside of this particular Goetta a nice crust. Goetta delivers a contrast of textures. You're going to have a nice crust on the outside. The center is going to be warm and more porridge-like. Notice the integrity of my particular Goetta. It's still soft and fragile, but I can easily flip it. Now, if you don't add pigskin, doing this is virtually impossible, especially on a cast iron skillet. Once you've got a nice crust on the outside of your Goetta and the inside is warmed through, this whole process doesn't take very long. I'm going to cook this piece for a little longer. This morning, we're going to be eating Goetta for breakfast, and this is what our Goetta looks like. Okay, now for the moment of truth. It's time to taste our Goetta. The structure and integrity of our sausage looks great. It smells amazing. It's got a nice crust on the outside, and time to give it a little bite. Here we go. Ah, that's delicious. It's savory, it's crispy on the outside, but soft and gooey on the inside. Yummy.
And that's how you make Goetta, Cincinnati's best kept sausage secret. It's a weird sausage, I get it. It's ooey, it's gooey, but it's delicious and amazing, and quite possibly one of the coolest sausage experiences that we had here on 2020 Celebrate Sausage. We highly suggest that you make it, and if you want to make it, we got a recipe that's printable in the description box below, step-by-step instructions. If you got any questions, leave them in the comments section. And don't forget to tune in tomorrow, same time, same place. We've got another brand new recipe, and I think you're absolutely going to love it. See you tomorrow.